I'm in Berlin right now, and I met obviously with German officials, and people are pretty tough on themselves as to what did we do wrong. This post-mortem has started, and it'll take probably a generation uh, to figure out what went wrong. But what I do want to say is it's been, in its own ways, a huge success because it's actually transformed Afghan society, the international contribution and presence. Um, if you think about the 1970s, my parents' generation, which people always talk about tourists and miniskirts and sort of a cosmopolitan city as in Kabul, the country was had not progressed that much. Literacy in those days was at 8%. Kabul had a population of 300, 400,000 people. So, and basically, two or three clans ran the country, and it was just a very small elite, group of individuals who basically were sophisticated. The rest of the country was very backward. So, I think that this post 9/11, the political order that we saw end in mid-August, contributed greatly to the education of Afghans. We have this extraordinary population that's the youngest, I believe, outside of sub-Saharan Africa. At median age of 18, 65% of the population is under the age of 22 or 23. And of the younger generation of Afghans, if you say under 30s, the education rates are pretty high. I mean, they're like at 65, 70%. Now, the average is much lower, but this new generation of Afghans, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. I mean, these kids are sophisticated, they're better educated, they're savvy when it comes to technology and consumption of media. On both sides, by the way, even the Taliban fighters know how to use Signal and WhatsApp and Facebook. They may consume a different type of content, but they're pretty tech savvy in their own ways. So, child mortality has dropped. People are living much longer. The life expectancy has moved up. People live in urban centers, or they have an urban experience, even if they live in smaller towns. So the country has been transformed, and I think the international community, while it licks its wounds, and it's of course it's a tragedy for the 38 million who are going to remain in the country. I still believe it's been a net positive for the country. Now, once you taste freedom, once you taste freedom of expression, or when as a woman you can work, or you can go to school. How bitter will it be if we go back to the mid-1919? That's going to be the big question, is Taliban 2.0 different to the earlier version? And we're getting mixed signals, obviously, and the proof's in the pudding. We'll just have to see how, what the new government looks like, who's in charge, how much will they tolerate. We can only speculate at this juncture. It's too early to tell. Our own experience as a media group is mixed. I mean, there are certain things which are, encouraging, but then again, we have to be pretty realistic and not naive about what we may see in the weeks ahead.